Imagine living in the wealthiest city in the ancient world, a place where gold flows like the river Euphrates, a city where ordinary men, farmers, merchants, even slaves became fabulously wealthy. That city was Babylon, and the secrets they discovered 4,000 years ago are still the most powerful financial wisdom ever written. Today, we're diving deep into George S. Clason's masterpiece, The Richest Man in Babylon. This isn't just a book, it's a blueprint, a code, a timeless guide to building wealth, no matter where you start. Stick with me for the next 30 minutes, and by the end, you won't just know the story, you'll have the exact principles to change your financial life forever. Let's go back to ancient Babylon, the world of Babylon. Before we meet our characters, we need to understand the world they lived in. Babylon, 4,000 years ago, located in what is now modern-day Iraq, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Babylon was the greatest city on earth. It had towering walls, hanging gardens, massive temples. It was a city of trade, ambition, and opportunity. But here's what's fascinating. Despite all this wealth surrounding them, most Babylonians were broke. They worked hard, day after day, year after year, and yet they had nothing to show for it. Sound familiar? Author George S. Clason noticed the same pattern in 1920s America. People were earning more than ever, but saving nothing. So he did something clever. He wrote financial wisdom in the form of ancient parables. Stories set in Babylon, easy to read, impossible to forget. And the result? One of the best-selling personal finance books of all time. Now let's meet our hero. Chapter 1. ARKAD, the richest man in Babylon. Meet Banzer, a chariot maker. He's talented, hardworking, and completely broke. One day, Banzer sits on the low wall of his terrace, staring at his empty purse, frustrated and confused. He works long hours. He crafts beautiful chariots. Yet at the end of each week, his coins are gone. Where do they go? He has no idea. He calls on his best friend, Kobe, a musician. Same situation. Talented, hardworking, no savings. Together, they decide to seek out their old childhood friend ARKAD, because ARKAD is the richest man in all of Babylon. They find ARKAD in his grand palace and ask him directly, "ARKAD, you were once poor like us. We grew up together. We were all equal. How did you become so rich while we remained poor?" ARKAD smiles. He doesn't boast. He doesn't brag. Instead, he tells them the most important thing he ever learned. "A part of all I earn is mine to keep." Banzer blinks. "But ARKAD, all that we earn is ours." ARKAD shakes his head slowly. "No, my friend. Do you pay the sandal maker? You give money, it is his. Do you buy food at the market? That money belongs to the farmer. You pay everyone, except yourself. You must pay yourself first." Pause for effect. This single concept, paying yourself first, is the foundation of all wealth building. And it's where the entire book begins. ARKAD explains, save at least 1/10 of everything you earn. Before you pay rent, before you buy food, before anything else, take 10% and set it aside. It is your wage for your labor. Don't let it disappear into other people's hands. This is the first law of gold, and it changes everything. Chapter 2. The 7 cures for a lean purse. Word spreads. The king of Babylon hears about ARKAD's wisdom. He calls ARKAD to the palace and gives him a mission. Teach our people. Babylon is full of talented men who remain poor. Teach them how to create wealth. ARKAD agrees. He gathers 100 of Babylon's citizens and teaches them over 7 days. Each day one cure, one remedy for an empty purse. Let's go through all 7. Cure Hason. Start thy purse to fattening. For every 10 coins you earn, keep 1. Just 1. Only spend the other 9. This seems so small, so simple. But here's the magic. You won't even miss that 1 coin. And over months and years, it becomes a fortune. This is pay yourself first. 10% of your income automatically goes to you, not to expenses. Cure #2. Control thy expenditures. Here's a dangerous truth. Our expenses always rise to meet our income. Get a raise? We spend more. Earn more? Our lifestyle expands. ARKAD calls this a trap. He says, budget thy expenses so thy actual needs are met, but do not touch thy savings. Call it thy budget if you wish. Create a budget and stick to it. The point? Live below your means. Know the difference between needs and wants. A want will always disguise itself as a need, but wisdom sees through it. Cure #3. Make thy gold multiply. Here's where it gets exciting. Saving money is not enough. Your gold must work for you. ARKAD says, put each coin to labor so it may reproduce its kind. In other words, invest. Every gold coin you invest gives birth to more gold coins. Those coins have children of their own, and their children have children. This is what we now call compound interest, and it is the 8th wonder of the world. Cure #4. Guard thy treasures from loss. Before chasing profits, protect what you have. ARKAD warns, the first sound principle of investment is security for your principal. Don't risk your savings on get-rich-quick schemes. Don't give your money to strangers. Don't invest in things you don't understand. Many men lose their life savings chasing huge returns. The wise man seeks reasonable returns on safe investments. Cure #5. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your home. Stop paying rent into a landlord's pocket and put that same energy into paying for your property. When you own your home, you build equity. You eliminate rent. You create stability for your family. ARKAD says a man who owns his home has a better relationship with his work, his family, and his city. There's pride and peace in ownership. Cure #6. Ensure a future income. Prepare for the day when you can't work. Plan for old age. Set aside money for your family in case you die. Today we call this retirement planning and life insurance, but 4,000 years ago, ARKAD was already teaching it. The life of every man proceedeth from his childhood to his old age. This is the road of life, and no man may leave it. You will grow old. You will face health challenges. Prepare now so tomorrow is secure. Cure #7. Increase thy ability to earn. The most overlooked cure. Study. Learn. Improve your skills. The more skilled you become, the more valuable you are. The more you earn. A young man who masters his craft earns more than a lazy man born into wealth. ARKAD says, cultivate thy own powers. Study and become wiser. Become more skillful. Act to respect yourself. Your greatest asset is you. Invest in your own mind and abilities. The returns are infinite. 7 cures, 7 timeless principles. Write them down, live them, and your purse will never stay lean for long. Chapter 3. Meet Algamish, the lender. Now let's go back to ARKAD's own story. How exactly did HE get started? As a young man, ARKAD worked as a scribe, copying clay tablets for a wealthy moneylender named Algamish. ARKAD worked hard, but earned little. One night, Algamish came late to pick up his tablets. ARKAD made him a deal. I will finish your work tonight without extra payment if you tell me the secret to becoming wealthy. Algamish was amused, but he agreed. He told young ARKAD, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should be not less than 1/10, and it should be saved before you pay your expenses, not after. ARKAD followed this advice. He saved 1/10 of everything he earned. A year later, Algamish returned and asked, did you follow my advice? ARKAD said yes, but he had made a mistake. He had given his savings to a brickmaker named Osmor, who was traveling to distant lands to buy rare jewels. ARKAD hoped for huge profits. Instead, Osmor was tricked, and ARKAD lost everything. Algamish laughed, but not cruelly. You lost your savings because you sought advice from someone who knew nothing about jewels. Would you ask a brickmaker about gem trading? Next time, seek advice from those who are expert in what they do. Lesson: Invest only with experts in their field. Never take financial advice from amateurs. ARKAD learned. He started again. He saved again. This time, he invested wisely with a shield maker, getting paid a small portion of every shield sold. This was an early form of passive income, and it worked. Algamish returned one final time. He was old and dying. He left ARKAD his wealth, not because ARKAD was lucky, but because ARKAD had proven he was wise and disciplined. Hard work plus discipline plus wisdom equals wealth every time. Chapter 4. The 5 Laws of Gold. Perhaps the most powerful section in the entire book. A rich man named Kalabab gathers his sons before traveling across the desert. He gives his son Nomasir a bag of gold and a clay tablet engraved with the 5 laws of gold. "Son," he says, "if you lose this gold but keep these laws, you will build back your wealth. If you keep the gold but ignore these laws, you will lose it all." Let's hear the 5 laws. Law Hasson. Gold comes gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Law #2. Gold labors diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Law #3. Gold clings to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. Law #4. Gold slips away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. LAW #5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. Nomasir travels to Babylon. He ignores the laws. He loses the gold twice, chasing easy profits and bad deals. Humbled and broke, he finally follows the 5 laws. He saves. He invests wisely. He studies those more knowledgeable than himself. Within a few years, he has built his own fortune, greater than what his father gave him. He returns to Kalabab and places 3 bags of gold at his feet, repaying every coin with interest. His father weeps, not because of the gold, but because his son finally understood. The laws of gold are not complicated. They're not secret. They're just disciplined. And discipline is what separates the wealthy from the broke. Chapter 5. The story of Dabasir, escaping slavery. Now comes one of the most dramatic stories in the book. Dabasir was a young man from Babylon. He had a good life, but he was reckless with money. He borrowed and spent freely, piling up debt until his creditors pursued him relentlessly. Desperate to escape, he fled Babylon. He fell in with camel traders who turned on him. He was captured and sold into slavery. As a slave in Syria, Dabasir hit rock bottom. But something happened one night. His master's wife, a compassionate woman, spoke to him privately. "Are you a man or a slave in your heart?" she asked. The question shook him to his core. "A man," he answered. "Then prove it," she said. "A slave runs from his problems. A man faces them. Return to Babylon. Pay your debts. Restore your honor." She secretly helped him escape. Dabasir returned to Babylon penniless, in debt, ashamed. But now, he had a plan. He went to his creditors. He didn't hide. He said, "I cannot pay you all now, but I will pay you. Give me time." Then he applied the principles of Babylon. He divided his income into 3 parts: 70% for living expenses, 20% to repay creditors, 10% to save for himself. Month after month, year after year, slowly, steadily the debts shrank. His savings grew. And one day Dabasir was free. Free from debt, free from shame, and beginning to build real wealth. The message? Debt is not permanent. It is a problem with a solution, and that solution is discipline, a plan, and relentless execution. No matter how far you've fallen, you can come back. Chapter 6. The Walls of Babylon and the Final Lesson. The final story in the book is powerful in its simplicity. An army surrounds Babylon. Enemies are at the gates. Citizens are afraid. But Babylon's walls hold. Day after day, month after month, the enemy cannot break through. Eventually, the enemy retreats. And the lesson? Clason says, the walls of Babylon represent the financial defenses we must build around our own lives. Insurance, savings, investments, emergency funds, diversification. Life will bring challenges, economic downturns, job loss, health crises, unexpected disaster. The man with strong financial walls survives. The man with none is conquered. Build your walls before the enemy arrives. And that, my friends, is the timeless wisdom of the richest man in Babylon. Let me give you the summary, your golden takeaways. 1. Pay yourself first. Save 10% of everything you earn before anything else. TWO. Control your expenses. Live below your means always. 3. Make your money multiply. Invest it wisely so it works for you. 4. Guard against loss. Protect your principal before chasing profits. 5. Own your home. Invest in your own property. 6. Plan for the future retirement, family security, old age. 7. Improve your skills. Your income grows with your knowledge. 8. Seek expert advice. Learn from those who know, not those who guess. 9. Pay your debts, honor your obligations, and restore your reputation. 10. Build your walls. Protect yourself from life's inevitable storm. The ancient Babylonians figured this out 4,000 years ago. The principles haven't changed. They never will. The question isn't whether these principles work. The question is, will you work them? Start today. Save 10%. Invest wisely. Never stop learning. The richest man in your city could be you. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a book summary that could change your life. And if you want a full written version of these principles, check the description below. Until next time, stay wise, stay disciplined, and keep building. See you in the next one.